Ready Check Radio.
Stand by as we get ready to serve up all your news this week in the world of gaming. Welcome to Gaming Gumbo. Hello, Internet, and welcome once again to Gaming Gumbo, your weekly gaming wrap-up show here on Ready Check Radio. I'm your host, as I am every week, Mike Byrne. We're live, twitch.tv/ReadyCheckRadio. It's Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, so we're ready to go here with episode 60. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got chat live, ready to chat with us and give us their opinions on everything we talk about today. And, of course, we would love your opinions in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, Audible, all the places we're available, while you're there, do us a favor, click like, click follow, click subscribe, all that good stuff. If you like what we do here, tell a friend or two or three or like 500. Like if you're a YouTuber with 1 million subs, send them on over. It's fine. You know, we don't mind. It'd be great. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. We appreciate you being here. Check out ReadyCheckRadio.com for all of our backlog of Gaming Gumbo, The Relic Grind, our Final Fantasy XIV Square Enix show, and even episodes of Snowbound, our Blizzard show, still on hiatus until they can get their employees to stop touching each other. On the line, joining me to go over all of it, Mr. Troy Blackburn, the Noob Fridge himself. What's up, sir?
Hey, if you want to take part in all the important business decisions of Ready Check Radio, you should be in the pre or post show, because that's when we make all of our decisions live on the stream.
Live by the seat of our pants. We just Kiggles in chat. Oh my God, I got to get Kiggles on a show. I totally forgot all about that since we weren't rating anymore, Dom. I totally owe Kiggles a show. What's up, Kiggs? You know I love you, my friend. Also on the line, Dom Greco. What's up, sir? Chat giving you the happy birthdays already.
It's not my birthday. It's still going on. It's a week later and it's still going on. It has not stopped every single day. It's just apparently they're all my birthday.
As soon as the audio went live with pre-show and they heard your voice, happy birthday, Dom, just started going. And I told everybody before you had arrived, last week we were joking, but this week, seriously, it was your birthday, so.
Birthday's like a week before yours. Why? Why?
Next week is your birthday.
Is it next week?
Next week would be Burns' birthday then, if I'm a week before, right?
It's next. Well, no, because next week's your real birthday, so mine would be the following.
Everybody tune in next week. Wish Dom a happy birthday.
Yeah, Yod forecasted right now or scheduled to be back next week. He finished his PC build. He finished the hardware build part of it yesterday. Was running with Windows 11 and getting things set up today. So should be back and ready for action next week with Yod and Dom. And then we're just gonna cycle through and give everybody 2-on-1 off. Always appreciate my hosts volunteering their time. Absolutely love them. Hey, this week, gents, on the Final Fantasy XIV side of things, if you go back and look at the Relic Grind, which is on ReadyCheckRadio.com and on our YouTube, and audio versions up too, you can listen to a rather lengthy discussion about add-ons, right? That was like a big deal that happened in Final Fantasy XIV this week. Obviously, add-ons not allowed by their terms of service. It's always been kind of handled with a wink-wink, nudge-nudge. We can't detect if you're using them, but obviously if you stream and use them and somebody turns you in, or you bash somebody in chat by linking a DPS act meter or whatever, we're going to ban you or we're going to suspend you depending on number of violations, etc. And so it opened this whole discussion. Now, I don't want to rehash that portion of the discussion. Go check out the Relic Grind for that in the context of Final Fantasy XIV where all this happened. But since I do have myself being an old WoW head and two old WoW heads here, Troy back in the day, Dom a little more recently, you and I as part of the same raiding group through heroic and mythic raids for 9.1, 9.2-ish, 2-ish, because then, we both were like, no thanks, Blizz. But for 9.0 and 9.1, definitely, we did the whole heroic and mythic stuff there. I do want to get your take on the general feel of add-ons when it comes to particularly MMORPGs, right? I'm not talking about when you go play Skyrim and you put on that graphic mod, right?
Oh, for Thomas the Tank.
Right, to make everybody in Resident Evil Village, everybody gets the Thomas the Tank face. Like, I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about actual game file touching stuff, not modifying, not cheats, not hacks, but things like in World of Warcraft, deadly boss mods, big wigs, recount, the DPS meters, anything like that. Because I think World of Warcraft is in a little bit of a different spot than where we are with Final Fantasy XIV. And I'm not saying it's a better spot. In fact, I think it's a spot you really don't want to be in as a developer. And I think Final Fantasy XIV may end up in that spot, which is unfortunate if they don't do something a bit more consistent now. But Ian Hazzikostas, in an interview with Asmongold this past week, and say what you will about Asmon, whether you like him or not, doesn't matter for this, he did bring up, hey, when you design raid encounters, do you take into account these add-ons? And Ian kind of said, we have to. Like, they're so prevalent that we have to. If we designed raid encounters without those in mind, our audience would just find them way too easy. Because since they have weak auras and countdown timers and call-outs and like all these different things, it can trivialize a fight that isn't designed with those add-ons in mind to be happening. Now, they do plan in Dragonflight to make some changes to UI and things like that, and maybe steal some of the functionality of some of these add-ons in the way they want them implemented rather than, making you use the add-on. But they've kind of boxed themselves in here. And at some point, if they want out of that box, really the only way to do it is to shut off add-ons, which Asmon did ask about, and he said it's a weird line. Like, if we don't want you to have this particular functionality, we could go ahead and take it out. But then we might inadvertently break 9 other add-ons that are just raid frames or unit frames or graphic displays that we don't mind, but because they all touch the same API, you end up breaking a lot of things. So they're in this weird box.
Yeah,
how do you feel about add-ons in general when it comes to like World of Warcraft in particular, since that's a lot of your raiding and add-on experience? How do you feel about them? Do they trivialize content? Do they serve a benefit? Are there, is it possible to draw a line between these ones are okay and these ones aren't? Or is the API just the API? Like, what's your general feeling about all of it?
I mean, I think they definitely trivialize encounters for sure. Because I remember, early days raiding Molten Core back, before we really had add-ons or knew what we were doing, and we were struggling like getting the timing down for like the fear on Magmadar. I remember that specifically. And then it's like we got an add-on for it and our tank was able to stance shift, stance dance, or whatever they called it, to prevent the fear from going off. And since he had the timer down, like with the add-on, it made it so trivial that we one-shot the encounter first time we had the add-on. So it's stuff like that. Yeah, I definitely think add-ons are a problem in that regard, because having to design an encounter and stuff around the knowledge that people have these add-ons is really frustrating. But at the same time, I feel add-ons in general, when not related to boss encounter, can help increase the longevity of a game, because when a team is slacking like the UI design for WoW, you can have an add-on person come in and touch that up and make it look way better than anything that you can get in way less time that you would be able to get, because it's taken 15 years for them to redesign or plus, to redesign the UI. So, add-ons have been doing this forever, and maybe it was just lazy because they were doing it, or who knows.
Yeah, and Baron, of course, bringing up where we were going to go next with this, Troy. The flip side of that is if you're designing with these add-ons in mind, then they almost become required, right? If you don't use these add-ons, the fight is exponentially harder for you because it was designed with these add-ons giving you extra information that maybe the UI itself isn't giving you in mind. So it almost makes you as a newer WoW player with your guild feel like, you have to go get these damn things, whether you want them or not, whether you know how they work, whether you know what they do, whether you know you're getting them from a trustworthy source, etc. Now, WoW's a little bit different in that, again, because you've got Curse and Overwolf kind of bucketing everything together there. So generally speaking, in most cases, you're going to be security fine. But there's still almost that feeling of, well, I need it. And if I need it, why isn't it in the damn game?
And even back in my day, when I was progression rating, it wasn't as much as I need it as it was. The guild leader says, if you don't have it, you don't come along, period. Because you need to know what's going on. Because like you said, they get to a point where the fights are developed to require these add-ons, basically. Even back in the Wrath of the Lich King, when it was really becoming prevalent, the bosses were already being designed, knowing that DBM was out there and that raid teams were going to have it. So they wanted to make sure that you were going to have it if you were going to do it. They made their fights harder that way. Even in something like Star Wars: The Old Republic, where there's not big add-ons, they're not really officially supported, you can still get DPS meters because you can internally combat log to files within the game. And so there are external programs that will read those combat files and crank out a DPS meter that you can share amongst your group outside of the actual game. But even in games like that, where there's, not official support of add-ons being used within the game, they're still being used outside of the game and filling in what is basically shortcomings that the developers have left in their games, as far as the players are concerned.
Right, but they also could take it a step further. Like, I'm going to give you, we're sidebarring here a little more time on this than I wanted to, but Torchwick is not streaming after the show tonight. He needs another weekend of recovery. May is very, very busy for a high school senior about to graduate. So, so we can go as long as we want. I remember distinctly the Blood Council fight, Dom. Right? And that was in 9-0, Castle Nathria. And if you were DPS, there was a mechanic in that fight where we called it the dance, right? You got to do the dance, hearkening back to the safety.
Move it.
Move it. And all it was everybody was stacked up, and if you got this debuff on you, it was going to trail and drop deep, DPS bad puddles behind you. And so you just started booking it to the right until it wore off, and then you circled down and back around into the group. The number of people that needed a weak aura to tell them when to move was always staggering to me.
Yeah. Or people that need the audio call out on top of the weak aura.
Yeah.
We had to have somebody physically call it out, move it, or name the players that were targeted, or, ugh.
And maybe, there are some fights where maybe the UI gets a little too busy and you're like, that should be displayed a little better, but now at least I know where to look for it, right? I should have been given a little more information from the WoW UI. But I was always amazed by, this is a simple mechanic. If you get the dot, run to the right. If you don't, take a step to the left real quick, just so the initial puddles maybe don't hit you. And then when you're done, don't run back across the puddles you just dropped. Come down and get it back into the group. The number of times that it was just like wiping and people needing weak auras to say, step left, run right. I don't have a problem with like call outs. Like if I'm the raid leader, right, and you guys are in my group and I'm watching the cast bar, a general UI element, right? And I see, here comes the tank buster, and maybe Troy absolutely knows when the tank busters are happening and he's not going to have any problem with it. I'm calling it out for the sake of everybody, right? Troy, I'm reminding, in case he forgets, I'm also reminding the healers, don't shit your pants. If Troy goes down to 20% health all of a sudden, just get prepped. You're going to have to top him off. I'm prepping the DPS to not get spooked. The tank is about to take a lot of damage. Like, calling the stuff out, I really don't have a problem with that. Like, so for the raid leader was like, hey, dance, move it. Cool. Oh, shit, let me look up. Did I get the debuff? No, I didn't. Okay. But I was always just amazed at some of the more simple mechanics that people needed an add-on for. And I'm not great at MMOs. I'm not world firsting any. I've got 25 years of experience with them, so I'm damn good at them. The ones I sink enough time into to become good. But it just always amazed me, Dom, that it kind of shifted to this like almost reliance on them.
Yeah.
In World of Warcraft now.
And then even so on Warcraft, I remember in also in vanilla when the top two guilds were working on server progression. It was a guild on the Alliance side had actually wrote an add-on, and they were using it internally, and then they like gave it out to other of the top end guilds to try, and hard coded into the background was like your class and all your character's name and your class that the person who wrote the add-on could see, right? So you would see, oh, our guild is going in and we're 15% into the Nefarian fight, for example, in Blackwing Lair. And they would be like, oh, and they would click a button and it would crash the tank, right? So the add-on would actually crash WoW. The tank would just like be standing there. Nefarian would lose aggro and just go nuts and just wipe the whole raid. So there's a lot of malicious things you can do with add-ons too that if you're not careful about, could really cause some problems.
Troy, should they just be banned? Do you see benefits in them? Because ultimately, these companies don't want to get into that gray area of trying to manage them, right? This one's okay to use, this one's not okay to use. That is intensive resource-wise, time-wise. To this one's fine, that one's not. This one's fine, that one's not. Well, these ones are fine for people that might have vision issues, but by saying it's okay, people that don't have vision issues may use it in some way, unforeseen way. So, okay, well, thumbs up this. They don't want to get into that. And right now, it clearly impacts World of Warcraft's design decisions. It doesn't yet in Final Fantasy XIV. It doesn't yet. So should they just be banned, or should they? Do you just rely on Blizzard or Square Enix to develop these things that enough players start screaming, "Look, I need to be able to see the timer on debuffs in the unit frames by the players. Why do I have to target somebody to see that they have 10 seconds left?" Which is an example of a Final Fantasy one right now.
You don't want to manage that stuff, and it can be time consuming to go in and which one's allowed, which one's not allowed. But you know what else is time consuming? Developing these add-ons, a lot of which are actually useful tools that fills in gaps for certain people, or just presents information in a way that I prefer to have it presented to me. Even if it's information that's available in the game, maybe I just like it presented to me in a different way, and it works better for me in that way. There's a lot to be said for what add-ons do, what they provide, customizing, just the ability to just do things in a way that is better for you in the long term. I think some also just improve the game overall over what the developers have done. So I don't think that they should be banned outright. I think there should be probably more managing of them, and I know nobody wants to hear that, but if you want to include some of those in your game, that's fantastic. That's great. That way you've got more control over what they can and can't do, so you have to spend less time managing. But there's always gaps in what you've created, and there's always going to be holes that players are willing to fill with add-on creation.
I totally forgot about this too, Dom. Kegel's bringing it up. We're talking about a WoW world post-trimming back of the API, because it gave a lot more than it does now.
Do you remember in Breath of the Lich King, there were add-ons where you could draw on the floor? Like you can actually like create circles and markers and be like, okay, the tank stands exactly in this spot. Like this is the spot. Do not move from there. Healers go, like you could draw that. Like guilds were using them to actually mark locations for players, which was great. My guild just used it to draw dicks all over the place. But they pulled back on that, and that was something that was just that trivialized things beyond belief.
And that's something that Guild Wars 2 has built in, is the ability to draw on the maps. And like you said, it usually just gets used to draw dicks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what's the old Pocket saying? I think it was Pocket that used to say it on Gamebreaker, right? It was the TTP.
Mm-hmm.
It was anytime you give creative control to players, it's just time to penis.
Yeah,
is the stat. It's the TTP.
Like Troy said, I prefer add-ons that give information like a key. Like when they did the daily quests in, I think it was Alteric Mountains or something, and They had like all the different rares that you would go fight. And it's just like the add-ons I enjoy are the ones that be like, this one drops this one drops that mount, this one drops a pet. Like all that information, that's what I like, to just mouse over where the boss spawn or where the rare spawns, what it drops. Do I need to kill it? Okay, move on, get out of my way. Like those were what I enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't care about the raid ones.
Tark bringing something up from Final Fantasy 14. World of Warcraft does it too, where you can use the internal game markers to mark not only enemies but also locations in the room, like everybody go stand at Star and stuff like that. But Square Enix realized they had to trim that back a little bit because there were now add-ons that were auto-placing, bap, 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 and just moving things on the fly. Like the reaction time became not human, right? Like a human could not have changed those things. Havoc asking, what about the quest add-on that would tell you where to go? A quest tracker. Remember that back in the day? A lot of that now actually implemented in most MMOs, right?
It's just part of the game.
It's in the default UI now, but
yeah. Most MMOs are just like, go in this direction. There's no exploring. Get the hell mount up and go west. Just go.
I started playing, sidebar again, I started playing right before that add-on really became popular. And just as I was starting playing, I was still getting the guides that kind of said, if you needed to kill this many things, go over to this area of this zone and find this over here. And I had a friend who had introduced me to it, and he kept saying, they've got this new add-on, you need to download it. I was like, no, I've got my quest guides out here in front of me. Everything's fine. Like, I know it's easy. I can just flip to this page and see where I need to go. And then I download the add-on, and I'm like, the fuck was I doing with my life? It just made it so exponentially easier, even over having the books in front of me that told me where to go and what to do.
Auctioneer's another one. Yeah, I mean, there's just, I don't know.
Auctioneer's the reason I got into making money in auction houses, because
you and 40% of the auction house sellers.
Me, I still looked at it and was like, that's too much effort.
Yeah, I was just like, I could sell this and maybe get 25 gold if I put this all up on Friday, and I get that much. Oh, look, this NPC is going to give me 19 silver. Sweet. We're done. We're done.
And then I don't have to think about it anymore.
We're done. When am I going to use Runeweave anymore? I mean, honestly. To Cal from chat talking about a person being smart but players being idiots. Yeah, what was that from Men in Black? Isn't that Tommy Lee Jones? People are smart. Or a person is smart, people are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it.
From something, but I don't. Was it Men in Black? I don't know, but yeah, I think that way too. I agree with that.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about some upcoming titles.
Glad we didn't spend a lot of time on add-ons.
Yeah, I only wanted to spend like 5 minutes on that, so I'm glad we only did 22.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about some upcoming titles. I have been enjoying both racing games lately, as in Gran Turismo and Forza Horizon. Gran Turismo's awful monetization aside, which we have beat like a dead horse on this show before. And so I've always liked the Need for Speed series, but lately, the last 10, 15 years hasn't really been all that great. But now,
Need for Speed 2 is the only good one.
Need for Speed is in the works, and we've got two big ballers working on it: Criterion Games and the development team at Codemasters Cheshire. They're coming together for the new Need for Speed. Now, Criterion, the Burnout, right? Burnout Paradise. Fantastic.
3 was still my favorite. 3 was Takedown.
Yeah. Now, Codemasters Cheshire actually was what was left of Evolution Studios, and they did the MotorStorm series, which was assembled by Codemasters after Sony kind of closed Evolution. So those are two excellent teams on a Need for Speed title. Is there hope, Troy? Is there hope now for a really, really good Need for Speed?
It always kills me, these multi-billion-dollar publishers who just like take something like Need for Speed and just bounce it around to different studios just because, like, oh, you're not doing anything today here, you do Need for Speed. And then what is the critical and commercial success been?
It's Tuesday. It's Troy's turn to do Need for Speed.
Right? Now you're finally going back and you're like, oh, look, I have some studios that specialize in this type of game. I'm going to let them do a game. Can you imagine how much better this game's going to turn out just because you actually have some people who know what they're doing and they're not going from RPG fantasy to Need for Speed, like the next week?
Right, like Square Enix going, hey, that Crystal Dynamics team, I mean, they did a really bang-up job with Tomb Raider. Mm-hmm. They've done a really bang-up job with some other single-player stuff. You know what? I think we should sign them to do an Avengers live service game.
Yes,
they'd probably
great.
Isn't that your favorite game, Mike?
Oh, absolutely. Or Square Enix going, you know what? Platinum Games and that Bayonetta.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love them to do a live service hack and slash game, and let's call it Babylon's Fall and make it look like an oil painting.
I mean,
great.
If you were getting like all these groups to come in and do like as you said, like the RPG and come in and make the racing game from Ready Player One, like sure, maybe that would make sense. Like you get all these weird action elements into it, but not for Need for Speed.
I'm looking forward to it. You know what else I've been playing a ton of? Microsoft Flight Simulator. My life is boring. I'm going to play it after this. I don't care. Those people, I got to get them from Pittsburgh to San Francisco, man. I got to. Real time, 5.5 hour flight. Let's go. Let's go. No stopovers, Troy. No layovers. We're just doing it. Let's go.
Let's go.
Another one I am really excited about, and I want to see if you guys are too. I know a lot of other people are, and that's this one right here. Dead Space remake. I loved 1. I really, really liked 2. 3 never happened. It never happened.
You'd almost think it's a Valve game.
Yeah. Got me. Got me. We knew about this. We talked about this a little while ago, but now we've got like a new art developer live stream and some stuff shown off. And we now know that it's going to be coming out on January 27th, 2023. So not all that far away. About half a year, 6-7 months. I cannot wait. I like Motive. EA is EA, but I would like to think that EA is like, all right, if we're going to reboot this, we cannot do what we did to number 3. Like, we can't. Like we just can't. But it also is EA, so maybe they're going, we were close with 3. We were close. So let's just shake it up a little bit. So what we're watching right now in this B-roll is like a walkthrough of like an engine room with the devs and stuff. I gotta say, man, they nailed the atmosphere for me. I cannot wait, Troy. Cannot wait.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the first Dead Space is the one that I always think about when I think about the positive memories of this game and what a big freaking deal it was when this game came out and how it just kind of took over gaming for a while. That's all everybody was talking about was Dead Space, man. Like, if you haven't played the original, if you can't wait, go back and play it. But if you can wait, this thing looks like it's going to be everything it should be. So maybe just hold off and play it. This next gen remake.
I personally haven't played the original, so I think I'm going to wait for this remake. And for those that have played the original, I hope that they leave a couple surprises in there, because like you always think you know where it's going, and then it's not as exciting, and then it takes like this weird left turn, even if it's momentarily just before it gets back on track. I don't even want to bring up Final Fantasy VII remake and how much that screwed with everybody's head, but like just maybe a slight detour and then come back on. Like that would be great.
So a little story here. Dead Space is actually the first the first game I played on a flat panel LCD.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Wow.
Like, so that was like what, 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. I think it was 2008, but chat can correct me if I'm wrong. I played it on the 360, and I had gotten my first LCD flat panel TV. And I remember having Havoc over at one point, and my mom and my other brother, Lou, Corey, you guys know him as Lou, over at different points. And I was just like, just watch this. Just
I was
watch.
going to say, at that time, I bet that was amazing.
Oh, yeah. It was on an LCD flat panel, 360, high definition, and just watching the opening, like, movie, hitting start and going through like the first zone or so, first area of so in Dead Space, just dripping with atmosphere. Absolutely a very fond memory of mine. I cannot wait for this.
I just looked. I have Dead Space 2 in my Steam library, but I don't have the first one.
Do you think it's going to be delayed, though? Like, everything in its mother is being delayed. They've given a specific date here, not like a Q1 2023. They have specifically said, Troy, January 27th, 2023. Make your bet now. Does it actually come out on that day?
I would be surprised if it launches that day. It's almost going to have to be delayed at some point. Something's going to come up and it's going to get delayed. I would be shocked to see it on that date next year.
Dom, you agree?
I think so. Everything's getting delayed. Everything. So.
Fun stuff. Speaking of delays, Bethesda went ahead and delayed Starfield and Redfall into 2023. Yeah, they both got delayed. Their announcement, we've made the decision to delay the launches of Redfall and Starfield to the first half of 2023, so sometime between January and June. The teams at Arcane Austin, Redfall, and Bethesda Game Studios Starfield have incredible ambitions for their games, and we want to ensure that you receive the best, most polished versions of them. We want to thank everyone for their excitement for Redfall and Starfield. That energy is a huge part of what inspires all of us every day and drives our own excitement for what we're creating. We can't wait to share our first deep dive into the gameplay for both Redfall and Starfield soon. Thank you for your support.
Yeah, they didn't give any real, like, actual reasons why. They just need more time on it.
Yeah. Wasn't Redfall originally slated for like summer this year? Is that the one that was slated for summer? So it was supposed to have been just probably a couple months away at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. They didn't really give a reason.
I mean, it's not like, what was the day before, where they were like, oh, we're gonna delay the game by a whole year because we're gonna switch to Unreal Engine 5. Like, that's kind of a big deal, and like that's respectable. It's like, oh, you want to make this game the best it could be. You need some more time. You're gonna actually switch gaming engines like that. That's cool. There's no reason here.
I'm kind of with Mad Martha in chat. Yeah, they can delay it all they want to, but these are still Bethesda games. These are going to be buggy messes. It doesn't matter if they come out in 2026.
Yeah.
So we had Phil Spencer, Xbox head, come out and say in response to this delay, these decisions are hard on teams making the games and our fans. While I fully support giving teams time to release these great games when they are ready, we hear the feedback. Delivering quality and consistency is expected. We will continue to work to better meet those expectations. Kind of a weird statement. It's like, I totally support that they need more time, but we saw the internet's pissed, and like, we'll try to do better. God of War creator David Jaffe just went apeshit on him, on Phil Spencer, by the way. Said that, like, Phil Spencer is good at what he does. He's a visionary when it's coming to Game Pass and stuff like that. But that maybe you probably shouldn't be involved in marketing and making statements like this. He says that he needs to, Phil Spencer needs to go get some therapy. He said, "You suck, Phil Spencer. You are me when I was 28." And said that he was like, knew what he was doing and everything, but then realized, there's stuff I'm not good at, and I probably should have other people do those things for me. So a little war of words from the God of War creator.
Stay in your lane.
Right. Right. Another one everybody's excited about, a lot of people, including myself here, got some concept images or some actual screenshot type stuff, and that's Alan Wake 2 from Remedy.
Ooh,
Troy, I know.
Daddy's ready. I am so ready.
Well, I hope you're going to be ready for a while, because they were like, here's an anniversary update YouTube video, here's some screenshots, and yeah, we'll see in a year.
With
they
some
were like,
more screenshots.
yeah, they were like, that's it. Now we're going to go dark for a while. So good luck, Godspeed. Did you know the Alan Wake TV, live action show that was like announced 4 or 5 years ago, like 2018? It's still a thing.
Really?
Yes. It's still a thing. Remedy revealed that Alan Wake TV adaptation, this is according to Game Informer, which was announced 4 years ago, is still a real thing and very much happening. In fact, the studio has found a home for the series, AMC. Now, you know AMC from Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
Now, AMC Networks has purchased the rights to this Alan Wake adaptation. Remedy says there's still a lot to go for the series to become a reality, though, so don't expect to be watching an episode of it anytime soon either. So they're like, for all of you Alan Wake fans, we got a show. We got a sequel. We've confirmed the remaster of the original for Switch. But yeah, I mean, don't expect anything anytime soon, Troy.
Yeah, that TV show's been in development for that long. I am not holding my breath on that one either. But yeah, the original game, man, if you haven't played that, go back and play that. It's an atmospheric masterpiece. I love that game.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're
they
in
even
good
said, hey,
hands.
we're not going to be showing off anything big this summer either. So, like, don't expect them to be at the summer game show or anything.
Here's your piece of news. Enjoy.
They're in good hands with AMC as long as they don't go like 5-6 seasons in, you know, like you probably want to stop this pretty soon, you know, maybe a 1 season limited series or maybe 2 at most, but
just make it 1 or 2 seasons with a closing at the end, and let's move on with our lives.
Exactly. Those are the
Right.
best, you know?
Right. What else we got in the new game lineup? Oh, 505 Games is doing a showcase next week. A showcase stream next week, Tuesday the 17th. If you don't know 505 Games and their showcases, you haven't missed any because they've never done one. They've never.
I was like, wait a second, what?
Did I misread?
They have never done one before, so they're gonna do one next week. Nobody knows what they're gonna show. Like,
Perfect.
nobody knows. This is called their Spring 2022 showcase. 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern on their YouTube channel on a Tuesday morning.
9 a.m. Eastern. I'm totally there.
Yeah. I mean, that is primo gamers are awake to watch your stuff timing right there.
It'll all get leaked on it'll all get leaked on the internet here in a day or two anyway, so it won't matter.
Well, I think that's why it's scheduled for Tuesday. They were like, if we schedule it for Tuesday, there won't be time to leak it.
That's like a Nintendo conference, you know. Let's do Pokemon at 8 a.m, you know. That makes sense at least because their audience is in Japan, different time zones, but yeah.
Right. I mean, so there are some things we think maybe they could show. I loved Control. I platinumed Control. I absolutely love that game. And there's the multiplayer kind of spin-off title that we already knew that they were working on. So maybe that shows up. They're the publisher, too, for the sequel to Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, a fantastic Metroidvania, very much in the style of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. If you have not played it, fantastic game. So we know that they're the publisher for that, so maybe we could see that there. But, like, I don't know anything else, right? They're working on. They're the publisher for some fantasy, like dark fantasy RPG from Mercury Steam, who did Metroid Dread. But like the stuff that I was following of theirs, like legitimately following, is already released.
Yeah,
like the Ayuden Chronicle Rising, that was a few days ago, May 10th. They did the Death Stranding director's cut on PC. Like those are the things that I think people might have said, oh, that's 505. Oh, okay. But those are already out. So I don't know.
They've got something that they think is worth putting out there in this sort of
Worth an inaugural showcase
yeah.
at
I'm
6 in
looking
the
at
morning West Coast time.
I'm looking at their list of games right now on their Wikipedia page, and the only one that I recognize off of a quick search through is Cooking Mama.
Oh yeah, that was like a huge controversy
It
too.
was. Yeah.
What was it? Cooking Star or Cooking whatever the latest version of that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a huge. They're gonna show video games, so there we go.
They did release Bust a Move Online back in 2007.
Look at that screenshot. Looks like an episode of Hoarders.
Ooh.
Wait a minute. That looks rather dark, Troy.
I have a friend who built haunted houses that looks like that.
How about this? Huh. That's rather dark.
Kind of creepy looking.
What is this? Let's take a look at this one. A little SMS action? Is this like a text message? What is this? Looks like your sister's bedroom. What's up on your night? Oh. Okay, that's freaky. That's freaky and spooky. Keggle's letting everybody don't do math. All right, that's really freaky. Like, Dom, this looks like some straight up Silent Hill shit. I mean, this
does.
This looks like. Wait a minute. Oh my God. These are leaked Silent Hill screenshots.
Potentially.
No.
Potentially.
No. Aesthetic Gamer, you probably, if you remember Dusk Golem, it's the same person, posted these images, supposedly a Silent Hill leak, adding they originated from a source that was new to them, but they had given more than enough proof for them to believe them, and that they thought that there's more that they know, but this is all that they were going to spill. This has been concept art dated back to October 20th of 2020, actually signed by Masahiro Ito. That's the monster designer and art director from the original Silent Hill trilogy. And so if like you look in the graffiti at the wall and stuff like that, you can see his signatures in there. Maybe they're real, maybe they're not. But, okay. Troy, this makes sense, though. Like, if you're Konami and somebody says they've leaked Silent Hill screenshots or concept art, the way you squelch those rumors, right, is you just ignore them, right?
Yeah,
you just don't acknowledge them. Or if somebody asks you to comment, we don't comment on leaked stuff. We don't comment on rumors and speculation.
And that'll kill it quicker than anything.
What's the one surefire thing you can do as Konami that is going to almost validate all the leaks to everybody that sees them?
Be pissed off about it.
Pissed off enough to
tweet about it.
DMCA the images.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's exactly what happened. These images you're seeing, you can't find the original tweets anymore from Aesthetic Gamer. They immediately got DMCA copyright struck by Konami. But they're totally not Silent Hill, Dom. Not Silent Hill.
Totally not. Sorry, my microphone software crashed.
Yeah, for the record, I just got distracted. I just cut myself for the second time ever on a live stream. This is not my first time cutting myself.
Hey, okay, so Troy, how did you cut yourself this time?
So I was.
What are you sitting there playing with a box cutter?
I was sitting here fidgeting with this bottle cap, and I had this pair of scissors, and I was just jammed this pair of scissors.
You idiot!
And it's
you need like a little fidget toy, on your desk.
How did you do it the first time?
The first time I was fidgeting with this pocket knife. I did that on an MMO bomb show one time. I sliced myself with a pocket knife.
Yeah, I think every time we do a show from now on, I'm going to be like, before we start, Troy, could you move anything
put away
sharp?
Your sharp
all your sharp objects.
I am bleeding profusely at the moment.
So what do you think, guys? Is this real? Are we going to get a new Silent Hill?
I mean,
these have been rumors forever,
yeah,
right?
it's inevitable. We have to get one at some point. But regardless, if Kojima is not involved, it's not going to be any good.
I was gonna say, do we trust Konami to make a good Silent Hill game at this point? I mean, it's theirs to do whatever they want to with, I guess. But as consumers, are you really gonna like buy in to Konami just kind of doing this now at this point, knowing what Konami is and what they've been recently?
Troy, chat wants to know.
The Konami of old.
Chat wants to know, Troy, if your mental health, are you okay? Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay.
The real question is, how do you know this isn't concept art for a pachinko machine?
Because there's not big waifu boobies on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's how Konami rolls, is big waifu, Konami, Castlevania, Silent Hill boobs.
Gotcha.
Boobs. Take a look at this patent in other miscellaneous news. Microsoft is patenting a system that would allow players to access physical games on the digital-only platforms like the Xbox Series S that, does not have a disk drive. It's just made for downloading and installing. And I think this is kind of weird, right? That we just happened to see this, Dom, after Xbox didn't have the best internet week in the world over the last 7 or 10 days, and people lost access to stuff. So this is a little weird. So the patent shows a method in which a user could insert a disk into an external disk drive, which would authenticate it and then allow the game to be played on an Xbox Series S or an Xbox One S. Now, it would still only be like a temporary authentication. Otherwise, you could just like authenticate it and go sell the disc and still be able to play it. So it's probably going to be like a temporary thing. And who knows, like, if it ever comes to fruition, right? I mean, a lot of these companies and patents we talk about on the show here, they never see the light of day. They just patent them so that nobody else can. But I just thought it was interesting that this patent gets revealed on the heels of the week that was, as far as accessing your digital Xbox games via Xbox Game Pass. Would you like this? Like, so I guess you would have to buy some external drive, right?
I would have to buy an Xbox first.
It just, well, that too. But this, so I'm just thinking about this. Let's walk through this, guys. Troy, you buy a digital Xbox S, Series S, and then you say, you know what? I really would like to be able to go buy that physical version of that game at GameStop or wherever and take it home and play it. But too bad I bought the digital-only one. Oh, wait, there's a workaround. As long as I go buy this external disk drive that, like, wait, why didn't you just buy the Series X then? If you wanted...
That's what I'm thinking is, like, if you bought the digital-only version of an Xbox, you know what you're getting. You don't care about physical copies of stuff. You just want digital downloads. That's the way I am now. Everything I do now is digital download on some shape.
Oh, I'm too much of a physical baby. Yeah, like, obviously I do digital downloads for things that's the only way, or Steam and stuff like that. But yeah, my consoles, there are very few games on my PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X or any of the previous internet-capable ones where I have only a digital game. I'm so much of a physical collector, it's not even funny.
Yeah. Troy, why don't you go get a Band-Aid or something?
I think you're part of a slowly dying breed.
Oh, I most definitely am. I have like 1,100 Blu-ray discs. You don't want to know how many DVDs and VHS tapes are in here either. Like, I am absolutely a dying breed. One person was like, one of my friends a long time ago was like, yeah, I can watch all of my stuff on the go. And I was like, yeah, I can watch all of mine when society collapses.
Yeah,
it is cool when I still run across, like,
I won't be able to play video games because they totally still rely on online connections and DRM and shit. But I'll be able to watch every single one of my Blu-rays, bitches.
Yeah, it's still cool when I run across, like, the old Spore box or the old World of Warcraft boxes and stuff, like when I'm rummaging through things in the house. I mean, it's a little nostalgia bomb, but like at this day and time, I have no desire to go out and buy a physical copy of anything. I'd rather just digital download it, be done with it. I don't go interact with human beings. I just push a button, I pay for it, I have the game, let's go, I play it.
Well, sometimes you run into a situation where, like, look at the movie Dogma, for example. Unless you own it on DVD or you, like, pirate it somewhere, there's no way to watch it. It's not available on any digital service anywhere, and it never will be, just because of bad licensing rights. So you may run into that problem where a game just disappears, and the only way to get it is physical. If you had it, you're lucky. You get to play it whenever you want, but digitally, no one will ever be able to play it again.
I think, Troy, maybe getting you out of the house a little more would like not
It's unnecessary.
Yeah, you might not cut yourself with scissors sitting next to your desk as much
I
if
just
you
wanna
walked
leave
out.
the house.
Are you still
Okay.
bleeding? Do you need a Band-Aid?
I've got a.
Okay.
So here's I don't know how to feel about this. You guys know I'm a Resident Evil guy. I love Resident Evil. I love the shitty Resident Evil Mila Jovovich movies. I am okay with the CGI movies as well. The latest one wasn't that great on, what was it? I don't even remember. Was it Netflix? I don't know. Yeah, I think it was Netflix. Now we're getting live action series. And so there's something about this that I do like, right? They are saying that like everything is canon. Everything that's happened in the games has happened here. Right? You know, Albert Wesker was blown up in a volcano by a rocket launcher. We know that. P.S. Wesker's back in this show, by the way. And they're saying it doesn't come back down to the fact that he's wearing a lava and rocket-proof clothes or anything like that. We're very aware of what happened, and it will be dealt with. But all the events, like everything, is canon. They also recognize, like, even Resident Evil Village, which is set in 2021, that's less than a year before the events of the show, the live-action show. They're saying, yeah, that stuff is happening in some instances concurrently with the show. We're not going to see that in this season because, you know, two totally different places where these things are taking place. And so I really like that aspect. I got to say, the trailer's butts. Like, the trailer is total butts. It is absolute butts. I'm a little nervous that this is going to be just bloody awful, Troy. Just bloody awful.
Well, I mean, even I also guilty pleasure some of the older movies and stuff, the Mila Jovovich movies and stuff as well.
I
But
just
those are not
binged
good-
all
they're
of
not
them while
really
I was.
good movies, though.
Oh no, they're terrible movies.
Yeah.
But I binged all of them just like 2 weeks ago while working. They were my white noise for a day or two.
Yeah. And I got a feeling that a show like this is probably more the same. A lot of what they do is outside of the games is sort of, it's not that good, but maybe you can guilty pleasure it out a little bit.
I hope so, Dom. I hope so. I just look at stuff like this and I'm like, hey, you know what Resident Evil fans want? Movie versions of the games.
Yeah.
You know what we don't get?
Movie versions
of the games. Like, the games already tell fantastic stories. Most of them. Some
I
of
still
them
haven't
are.
seen Uncharted yet, so I need to get around to watching that one.
This trailer, like, actually turns me off to the show.
I mean, the one saving grace that I could say is Lance Reddick is in it. I think he's playing Wesker, actually. But I love Lance Reddick. He's fantastic.
I don't know, boys. I don't know. We'll see. They did say, like, hey, you know, maybe you'll see Lady D in season 2. They don't cross over, obviously, because they're happening so far apart, but certainly now Village is part of our lore. If we wanted to now put a giant vampire woman in season 2, we can. Yeah, go ahead.
Then you might
just
get
do
my
that.
attention.
Just go ahead and do that.
Yeah,
Go ahead and do that.
just now.
Before we get over to our games of the week, Dom, you wanted to look at this little Overwatch clip since we don't do Snowbound. I did see this. When you added it, I was like, okay, because I almost put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
When you did, I was like, all right, fine, we'll talk about it. So what do we got going on here?
This is absolutely insane. You see Florida Mayhem sets up a May wall on the roof of the building, and then you have a Symmetra set a teleport up on top of the May wall, which should not really happen to begin with, to go over the entire map and jump down basically on Paris Eternal.
This
It's
was
just
live
absolutely
in a
insane.
tournament, by the way.
Yeah.
Live in a tournament. And immediately, do I just not have this on loop? Is that what's going on? Immediately, oh yeah, I do. They were like, okay. Blizzard was like, let's stop right there, everybody.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and have you restart this round before the opposing team could even ask.
You just
like,
see when the Rhine leaps over and like starts swinging at Widow. Widow's like, I got to get out of here. It's really funny.
Was this Overwatch 2 or 1? I can't tell. I don't know.
It might even be Overwatch 3. I'm not sure.
Who knows at this point? So I did think there was something funny that was said by the commentary. I'm not playing the commentary. There is commentary to the video. One of the shoutcasters, though, Dom, I don't know if you recognize this. When he does it, they go, "What the heck? What the? Oh my goodness!" And then he says something that I'm sure he regrets. Because then he says, I can't believe this. There's no way they were ready for that. This is EU ranked play all day. And I'm like, oh, so they cheat.
This is EU level ranked play in a nutshell. That's what it is.
In a nutshell. That's what it was. That's what it is.
Uh,
And obviously, like, he's just saying, good play, creative thoughts and stuff like that. And no disparaging EU. They generally kick our ass at most of these competitive tournaments.
At nearly everything. Yep.
You're right. Yeah, so no disparaging my EU friends. But I just, like, from the shoutcaster's perspective, like, when you find out that Blizzard is immediately like, whoa, that is cheating, don't do it. I think you might be like, well, I probably shouldn't have said this is EU ranked play in a nutshell if it's deemed to be cheating.
Yeah. But so, like, they had, the other team had the option of, like, restarting it, I think, and obviously they took it, but...
Well, no, from what I read, they were going to ask for a restart, but Blizz had already ruled that it was going to be restarted. So, like, they didn't even wait for the other team to complain.
In this, if you know of an exploit and you know you're going to lose, can you just exploit to get a restart? Like, that seems like an exploit right there.
Oh, you're an exploit. Let's go do games of the week. This is the way we end every episode of Gaming Gumbo here on Check Raideo. This is where we give you our recommendation for a game of the week. Could be a video game, PC, console, could be a tabletop game, card game, a mobile game. We don't care. This is where we give you our recommendation for something we think you should check out that we're playing, we played before, we've never played but think you might like, and you let us know in the comments on ReadyCheckRadio.com and on YouTube who gave the best recommendation. I'm going to go first this week, and I'm going to recommend Evil Dead the game. It is fantastic. I really liked Friday the 13th, the game, before its legal troubles that had nothing to do with the game. They were over the movie and the character rights, but it forced the game into like this frozen area. It's asymmetric gameplay. Think Evolve, think Friday the 13th, think Dead by Daylight, one monster for heroes, co-op, PvP, that type of thing. Totally awesome. It is very, very well done. Came out yesterday on multiple platforms, including PC. Unfortunately, on PC, you have to use the Epic Game Store at the moment, but you can buy it on every other platform as well. There's even some solo, like, mission stuff that you can do as well. If you are an Evil Dead fan, Bruce Campbell does all the voice work. A bunch of the main characters are there. Pablo's missing, but probably be there in future DLC and things like that. Some of the baddies, classic baddies, Evil Ash is there. Setting traps is amazing and a ton of fun when you are the demons. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Go check it out. That's going to be my Game of the Week recommendation. Go ahead, Troy.
This week, I'm going to go with something that you can pick up in Target or Walmart, a cooperative game that's a little easier to get into, a little simpler of a game. It's called Horrified. It's you and your friends against the Universal Studios classic movie monsters, like the Frankenstein monster, Bride of Frankenstein monster, Dracula, Wolfman, Invisible Man, Swamp Thing. Each one has a unique set of scenarios that you have to complete in order to defeat them. You've each got additional powers and special things that you and only you can do. You've also got to keep citizens safe throughout the town while fighting these monsters. You can choose 1, 2, or 3 monsters depending on your difficulty level. Horrified, easily to play, easy to get into, a lot of fun, cooperative. You can pick it up pretty much anywhere that simpler board games are sold.
Fantastic.
Dom.
Oh, me? Sorry, you were lagging a little. I didn't know. So a little bit different. I've been addicted to this mobile game called BeatStar, and it's a rhythm-based DDR style game for your thumbs. It's absolutely fantastic. It is free to play. There are some microtransactions for songs, but if you're patient, you could just earn free gems and get most of the songs.
Damn it, you know me in rhythm games. What's
Yeah.
this called? Hold on.
BeatStar.
You said it's mobile?
It is mobile, yeah.
I'm
And
not
there
a
are
mobile
leaderboards.
fan.
You can compete against your friends. So I know how competitive you are, Mike. So me and you can go back and forth at it.
Hey, there was a time when you and I were top 20 in the world at Astro Lab.
Astro, yeah.
BeatStar, touch your music.
Yep.
All right, we'll go ahead and
Dirty.
install that. That does sound dirty. That does sound dirty. Speaking of dirty, Havoc, I didn't put it in the show notes. You guys have any thoughts on Master Chief getting his groove on in the Halo Live series?
Still never watched a single
and
episode of that.
For some reason, he gets his groove on, has his sex, and it triggers some events that could bring about the downfall. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Was
You didn't
he
watch
wearing
any
his
of it?
helmet or no?
Oh, I would have left it on.
No, I think he removed the helmet on the series, didn't he?
I
That's what I
leave my Master Chief helmet on when I'm with Demina. So if
Oh.
I was actually Master Chief, I would absolutely leave the helmet on.
Hell yeah.
At all times.
At all times. At all times. That's going to do it for us here tonight on Gaming Gumbo. Thank you for hanging out with us. We will be back next week. Everything is now back to normal schedule-wise. My show is over, all that stuff. So we will be doing Final Fantasy TCG streaming on Monday. We'll be doing the Relic Grind, the Square Enix Final Fantasy 14 show on Thursdays again. And this show has just always been Saturday. We just skipped a week or two, so no changes there. So make sure you join us, all of our volunteer streamers. You can check out the schedule down below on Twitch. No Torchwick tonight. He'll be back next Saturday, though. Until next week, Troy, where can everybody find you?
Everything I do goes through Twitter at NoobFridge, and catch me every Wednesday, twitch.tv/MMOBomb.
Dom.
You can find me down, I believe, right here at Itzista.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me right there at MagicMan1, but more importantly, follow at RC Radio, and we'll tweet at you every time we go live with a podcast, hangout, or any of our volunteer streamers takes to the waves. Until next time, stay safe. We'll see you on the servers.